Well, for the very latest from Beirut now, let's bring in our correspondent, Layla Milana Allen. Layla, thousands of anti-government protesters back in the streets again. But this time, the protests, which have mostly been peaceful until this weekend, really turned up a notch.
Yes, so last night what we saw was really a reaction to two things. It was firstly a reaction to that violence on Saturday night when only a few hundred protesters were there Saturday night, and they tried to get into Parliament saying the government is not doing anything with Parliament, they're not using the building, it's for us, we should be allowed to get there. And riot police reacted very aggressively, many protesters saying that they took their duty to try and keep people back way beyond what was necessary, and there were a lot of injuries. So yesterday, protesters came out to show that they were not cowed, they would not be pushed back, they were not scared by what had happened on Saturday. And instead of hundreds, we saw thousands of people in the streets of downtown Beirut last night. And they came prepared. They were wearing the kind of hard hats you see on construction sites. Many of them had gas masks sold out in supermarkets across Beirut yesterday. Other people wrapping their faces in scarves. They brought onions, vinegar, milk, Pepsi, all these things that people use to clear their faces of the effects of tear gas. And they continually tried to move forward and then were pushed back by huge volleys of tear gas again and again over the hours. 9 or 10 times the protesters were heavily tear gassed, and they were using the French military grade style of tear gas. They have upgraded from what they've been using in the more peaceful protests recently. The other thing they were protesting against was the possibility that Saad Hariri might be nominated for Prime Minister again today. And they came out in the streets yesterday with big flags, posters with X's on them saying, we do not want this man to be leading the country again.
Right. So could that have had an effect on those planned negotiations for today, which were meant to perhaps reinstate Saad al-Hariri? They've been now pushed back.
It seems very likely that the reason that the consultations today have been postponed, they've been postponed again to Thursday, and this is the fourth time that consultations have been postponed on this. What's supposed to happen is that the different parliamentary blocs are supposed to come together from the sectarian power sharing system and speak to the president, Michel Aoun, to come together and each nominate who they want to be the new prime minister. And it looked very likely that Saad Hariri would be the man again, because the last couple of candidates we've seen in previous weeks have both pulled out at the last minute. So many people expected that he would be nominated today. A couple of Christian parties last night, the two main Christian parties, said that they would not put forward Saad Hariri's name. And so it was possible that Michel Aoun, the president, would say, we haven't got backing from all the sectarian parties, but he did seem the most likely candidate. The fact that so many people came out yesterday and stayed on the streets, despite these continuous efforts from the riot police to push them back so that they could say, we refuse to have this man in power. Today, Saad Hariri himself requested from the president that he needed more time to speak to other parties, perhaps to come up with either a new candidate or to speak to different parties and the public and show them a new way that he might be able to be a more functional prime minister in their eyes.
Layla, thank you. Layla Milana Allen, they're reporting from Beirut.